China's biggest EV manufacturers warn staff that a sea of blood is coming. We all know that China is the world's biggest EV market, which is rapidly growing and expanding. However, with the increasing competition and fierce rivalry between EV manufacturers, an alarming situation has been brought to light. One of the most famous Chinese electric car brands in the world has warned their staff that there is about to be a sea of blood in the automotive industry. A rival EV car maker has also added fuel to the fire by stating that the Chinese government needs to act now to primarily put pressure on some of these automakers to join hands. Otherwise, these manufacturers will soon face bankruptcy. But is it true? Well, absolutely, it is. In fact, 91 electric car manufacturers just cannot survive in such a saturated market. That's right, 91. And sadly, one of them has already faced the consequences and gone bankrupt. They've fired almost all their staff, leaving just a skeleton crew to run the company. This was one of the most luxurious EV brands in China. No one ever thought they would face such a fate. But the reality is, with the intense competition and oversaturation in the market, this is what's about to happen. In today's video, we will walk you through every detail of what's going on in the Chinese EV market and how this sea of blood is threatening to drown some of the biggest players. So, what exactly is happening in the Chinese EV market? Well, let's start off with the company that made the shocking statement. In China, this EV manufacturer is actually doing pretty well, even a lot better than other EV makers in the country. In fact, this Chinese automaker has been in the top 3% in terms of their production over the past year. The CEO of this company even joked about it, saying that the government needs to step in and force other automakers to join up because they can't maintain the losses they are facing. The CEO claims that these bankruptcies may even trigger a financial tsunami in China. Well, of course, this isn't the first time we've heard of bankruptcies in China's market. In fact, one of the biggest property developers, Evergrande, recently went bankrupt with over $500 billion down the drain. There have also been reports of other bankruptcies in the real estate market and even in the automotive industry. By all accounts, more than 2,000 car dealerships have been closed over the past year alone. Then there are car manufacturers like Jeep and Mitsubishi, which have also declared bankruptcy in China. With all this happening, it's no surprise that China is becoming a very risky place to do business in. The drastic competition between Chinese EV brands is making it difficult for legacy automakers to survive unless they have a strong foothold in the market, like BYD. The CEO of Chinese electric vehicle manufacturer Xiong told employees the company will unveil around 30 new and updated electric vehicle models over the next 3 years. This is an astonishing number, especially for a relatively small car company that was only founded in 2014. The fact that Xiong has never made a profit in a single quarter makes this announcement even more impressive. But how do companies like this still survive in such a competitive market? While we don't have an exact answer to this question, one way could be through strategic partnerships and investments, like in the case of Xiong, where the Volkswagen Group purchased a 5% stake in the company for around $1 billion. This cash injection likely gave them the financial stability to stay afloat in such a cutthroat market. However, it is difficult to say how long this will sustain the company, especially when the CEO himself sent an email to employees stating that there will be a sea of blood in the next 12 months due to intense competition and oversaturation in the market. There are too many car manufacturers and models, and they are all fighting for a piece of the pie. While it's true that the electric vehicle sector in China is making significant strides, there are still too many players in the market, and legacy automakers are struggling to keep up. In order to stay competitive, traditional players like Audi, BMW, and Mercedes have resorted to drastic measures, such as offering huge discounts of up to 50% on their EVs. Well, we don't hear much about this in the media, but it's happening. These discounts have been reported by several news agencies and are even being offered to staff members to make up for the intense competition in the market. This strategy is not new. Lucid Motors did something similar in the United States when they faced tough competition. So if Xiong is predicting a sea of blood and Leo is saying the exact same thing, it's highly likely that the bloodbath will actually take place. Another question that arises here is, what about the biggest automaker in China, BYD? They have the power to crush their competition with their size and resources. So what are they doing in the current market situation? Well, it seems like they are trying to do just that, crush their competition. In the past 3 months alone, BYD has discounted every single one of its models, including both plug-in hybrids and EVs. Some models have even been discounted multiple times. This discount after discount strategy is just another way of saying there are too many players in the market, and we want to get rid of some of our rivals. It's a classic case of survival of the fittest in the free market. So it's simple. The worst manufacturers will be phased out, while the strongest ones will survive and dominate the market. Now, bear in mind that simultaneously, many Chinese automakers will be focusing on exporting their EVs to other countries, where competition is not as intense as in China. These Chinese automakers are sending more and more EVs to countries in Southeast Asia, South America, and Central America. They are even planning to build factories in Mexico to sell EVs in the U.S. market. They're building factories in Europe to cater to European consumers, and they're also expanding their presence in the Middle East, Australia, and Thailand. And all this is happening at a much faster pace than we could have imagined. But things got more interesting when KTL announced that this year they will reduce the cost of batteries by 50%. So what does that mean? Well, it should be a way lot cheaper to produce an internal combustion engine, but hold on, not really. This also means that it's going to be significantly cheaper to produce an electric vehicle. In fact, by the end of this year, if a battery used to account for 30 to 45% of the total cost to build a vehicle, it will now be only around 20%. This means that EVs are already cheaper to produce than internal combustion engine vehicles in China. And with the continuous advancements in technology and economies of scale, this gap is only going to widen. Well, what does this mean for the biggest manufacturers of ICE vehicles in the world? We're talking about the Volkswagen Group, Toyota, General Motors, and Ford. It simply means that they will also face a tremendous amount of pressure to keep up with the changing market dynamics. They will need to make significant investments in EV technology. If not, the sea of blood predicted by Xiong may very well become a reality for them too. The 30 new and updated electric vehicle models that Xiong plans to launch in the next 3 years come with a price tag between $20,000 and $85,000 in China. The initial models set for release will focus on platforms that target prices over RMB $300,000, around $64,000, and in the RMB $150,000 class, around $32,000. In fact, XPeng's efforts in the RMB $150,000 class will be an A-class vehicle that falls under the Mona brand, which stems from the company's acquisition of Didi's EV development business in 2023. The CEO, He Xiaopeng, also mentioned that XPeng will be utilizing the company's Fuyao architecture, along with its full-scene intelligent assisted driving technology, XNGP and XEEA 3.0 electrical architecture technologies in the development of a Mona EV. For the higher market segment, XPeng has a code-named F57 model in the works, which is scheduled for launch in the second half of 2024. In order to achieve its ambitious goals, XPeng is planning to hire around 4,000 new employees and increase its research and development budget by more than 40% year-on-year. He Xiaopeng has emphasized the importance of staying ahead in the industry and being prepared for any challenges that may arise. This includes investing RMB 3.5 billion in research and development of artificial intelligence technology that will focus on smart driving. So what do you think? Will XPeng survive in the intense EV market competition and become a major player in the industry? Well, only time will tell. But one thing is for sure. The electric vehicle market in China is constantly evolving and becoming more competitive by the day. If traditional automakers want to stay in the game and compete with new players like XPeng, they will need to step up their game and adapt quickly. Only then can they hope to survive and thrive in the ever-changing landscape of the electric vehicle industry. We truly hope this video has given you valuable insights into the current state of the Chinese EV market and what we can expect in the future. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Also, in the end, as we always say, if you love what we do, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content related to the automotive industry.